Welcome to the Bold Goal Crusher podcast. For anyone looking to stop letting life get in the way and start crushing bold goals. I'm your host, Sarah Mayer, and I'm thrilled to navigate this journey with you because it's time to start boldly achieving without working double time. So let's dive in. Hello, Bold Goal Crushers. I am super excited for this episode of the podcast. I think you are really going to enjoy the conversation with Amanda, my guest today. So Amanda is a certified master performance coach who helps service-based entrepreneurs reach their full potential. And Amanda is a true coach's coach and is passionate about helping coaches and online service-based business owners get their clients massive results in order to grow a profitable coaching practice. She is the host of the Best Damn Coach podcast and runs the premier coaching program for coaches, Best Damn Coach. Amanda, I am so excited to talk with you today because I know our listeners are going to gain so much from you.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to be with you today. And I'm just excited to share anything I possibly can to help someone else be better.
Yeah. And I would like to start off with your story because you shared with me that you were a teacher and you were making like $623. Was that a week or what was
it? Every other week, just to share.
Oh my goodness.
And I will say in teaching world, that was like not completely full time. When by the time I left, that was what we called 3/5. So it was basically 3/4 of the day. But yeah, it was pretty disheartening at the time when I was getting those paychecks. What am I doing?
Yeah. And then where are you today?
Yeah. So I went through, just to even take a back step through that. My first month ever was as a coach. I was hired on with the local YMCA to coach basketball. So I had peewee basketball, like 5 and 6-year-olds, which was definitely like herding cats. But I learned at that moment that there was something inside me that was just like of service. And even to be able to like work with they were all boys at the time, and to be able to give them feedback and teach them something, and then to see them celebrate their potential and their results was very electrifying to me. And I think that was just a domino that led my entire life to teaching and coaching in some capacity. So I ultimately dropped out of pre-med and college, decided to go to grad school and get my degree in coaching and teaching. And then I taught for 10 years. And I thought I was like destined for that profession for forever until I just felt like this kind of restlessness inside of me when I was like, there's definitely more here. I didn't really have the answers, but I just felt like I was just scratching the surface of my potential. And that felt achy and restless. And I'm sure many of your listeners can just relate to that feeling. And so we had our second child. And at that point, my husband was on the SWAT team. I was working days. He was working nights so that we didn't have to pay for childcare and the kids could be with us full time. And one of those last paychecks I ever remember getting, I like to still get like the physical paycheck where you could pull the perforated edges, and I peeled it back and it was like $623. I remember that specific amount. And that was for 2 weeks worth of teaching. And that was after, of course, deductions and all the things that I was paying for. But I remember just like making that decision of this is not where we're not going to stay here. Like we have too much inside of us to be living this way. And so took a year sabbatical, thinking that if I wanted to come back, I would have a job, and then literally stumbled into entrepreneurship and began growing my practice from the ground up. As a teacher, we don't have marketing experience. We don't have sales. I'd never worked anything that required me to sell anything.
Yeah, the kids just show up.
They just show up. You don't have to go find client leads anywhere. They're forced to your room, whether they like it or not. But the one thing I did always have was an understanding of human behavior and a belief in people before they often believe in themselves. And that lent itself really well to coaching. And so I'd had my own health transformation. I'd been a fitness and health junkie pretty much my whole life, but I had several miscarriages, late-term miscarriages, and trying to get pregnant. I found myself in a body I didn't recognize. And so through my own journey, I just became passionate about serving others. And so we grew that business to a multi-7-figure place, and I loved it. And I love health and fitness. But what I really realized was that I want to teach other coaches and service-based leaders how to take results and be great at coaching and serving your people and use that as a strategy to grow their business. So it wasn't reliant on Facebook ads or weird marketing tactics, but it was really like, how do we lead with the servant's heart and take those results and multiply them so it attracts more of the same? And so that's what I do today. I work with coaches, service-based leaders, helping them just be really amazing at the art of coaching. It's also my belief that everybody's a coach, even if you don't identify with those terms. As business owners, we're coaching in some capacity. And that's what I've stumbled in today.
And I love your story. I think there are a lot of teachers out there that love everything they're doing about teaching and wish they could truly make more money doing that. But I love your story, how you were like, okay, this isn't where we're going to be. Like, we're not going to stay here. We're going to move into something else. And you use that love of teaching and coaching to build your new business.
Yeah. I think obviously aligned with your mission and the title of your podcast. I think that was a misconception around goals that I had for the majority of my life is I am a high achiever. I'll do whatever it takes. I'm a hard worker. I'm going to get the A. I'm going to get the 100%. I'm going to be the best. And so I feel like I spent a lot of my life setting goals and then chasing the actual goal. And while I did achieve them, I think I did it in like a muscling through kind of way.
Yeah.
And what I realized through entrepreneurship is that like goal setting is never about the actual goal, right?
Yeah.
Goal setting is about who we have to embody and who we have to become in order to have the thing.
Yeah.
And entrepreneurship, I think, is a gift for so many people to really like adopt that belief. Like the woman already making and running a multi-7-figure business, I've never been there, right? At that. I'd never even been a person not working for somebody else. And so I think a lot of the times we want to set goals and immediately our brain freaks out and is, but I don't know how. And I always tell my clients, you're not supposed to. The fun becomes in asking yourself, but if I already did have this thing, right? If I did already leave my corporate job, then how would I behave? What would I do? What are the behaviors I'd have to adopt to have that thing? And I think that has become such a freeing part of reaching goals is it's not attaining the thing. It's literally changing your identity in the process and just seeing who you can become over time. And now I look back at teaching and it was like, wow, that moment was so pivotal into finding that deeper understanding.
Ever we set those goals that are really big, and I like to call them bold goals, there usually is that gap of where you are now and where you need to be. And I like to call this, unfortunately, Quitter's Valley, because that's the place where people will quit. Because if it's truly a bold goal, it shouldn't be easy. And there should be a gap. And there should be, as you mentioned, a transformation. And the reality is that most of the things we're trying to create, honestly, unless you're inventing something revolutionary, somebody else has done. So there are people out there that can help you, that can coach you, that can provide you that roadmap. But that's the reason a lot of people quit, as you mentioned, they get in their head and they're like, I don't know how to do that. So I'll go back to doing this over here that's really comfortable, that I'm successful at and maybe not happy with, but at least I'm not in that discomfort zone.
Yeah. And I'd even add, that's why many people don't even start is because they think other people like had a blueprint laid out for them when they set a goal. And that's not the case either.
No, they wandered around in the desert. We're in Arizona. So they wandered around in the desert without water, finding scorpions and then figured it out.
It's true. It's very true.
Yeah. So how did you find the courage to make that change? You're married, like you went to your spouse and said, I don't want to keep getting this paycheck. Like, how did that go?
It was literally an ordinary morning. And when I speak, it's part of my keynote often. It was like an ordinary morning. And I remember like he was scheduled to end his shift at 1 a.m., but often they were held over like for a hostage situation or some extreme situation. And I was due out the door by about 6:30 a.m. And there was often mornings, this one in particular that I remember, where it was like I had a new baby, essentially a 2-year-old, and I'm trying to do all the things as a mom. I've got a nursing child, another one who wants like cartoons in the morning, and I'm trying to dress myself in this like body. And I just felt like it was like the hamster wheel that so many people feel. And I could hear the jiggling of the door as he's walking in. We're literally like, quick kiss, high five, peace, like ships passing in the early morning. And I remember just pulling out of the driveway, and it was almost like from a movie it was like slow motion. And I'm just seeing all of like my life pass me by, feeling like there is no way. And that was the day that I came home and I told him, like, we're not doing this anymore. He could go work half a day of overtime to make up for my paycheck. So I knew we would figure something out. I did not have the answer at that moment whatsoever. But there is this piece to me, like going back, like I was an athlete my whole life. And I remember it was like junior year, I played basketball. And I promise this story is relevant. Yeah. I was a basketball player, and I was fortunate to be like the main contributor of the team. And we were leading close to state finals, and we were in a game against our competitor, super heated, probably very egoic. But I decided I was going to step in front of their like leading player, leading scorer, and take a charge. And if you're not familiar with basketball, that's like you stand in front of somebody that's coming at you full speed. You crash to the floor in hopes that the foul will be on them and the change of possession will happen. And totally took the charge. Did get called in my favor, but the consequence was I totally busted my wrist and broke my wrist in the middle of the game. And it was devastating for me because here we are headed to the like state. We were a contender. We were like slated to be top 4. And I end up having to be in a cast, and it's my right hand, which is my shooting hand. And so when you're a teenager and that's like your thing, like the world feels like it ended at that point. And I'm still going to practice, obviously, to cheer on my team and fill in what roles I can. But about like within the first week, we're starting practice, and I see my coach coming like from across the gym. And he's screaming my last name, which was Martin at the time, like, Martin, come here. And he's like waving around this like book, and I can't really tell what it is. And so I go over, yeah, what's up, coach? And he's like waving the book in my face, and you can play. And I'm like, what are you talking about? The rules say you can play with a cast as long as it is not used as a weapon. And I'm like, we just have to bubble wrap it. And I am thinking like all these limiting beliefs flood in, right? Because anytime there's a goal set that we think we can achieve, we have these beliefs that come in and surface, right? That's the fastest way to know your limitations, is to do something or think about something scary. And I was like, of course, like, no way I can shoot with my left hand that well. What are my teammates going to think? Because somebody just took my spot and they're pretty excited about it. And I'm going to come back and take like, well, I can't play in a cast.
With your bubble wrap?
Yeah, with my bubble wrap. And I remember at that point, like this was the internal dialogue eventually that came up as he was talking. And I was like, why not me? Like, why not me be the one to say yes to that? Like, why not me be willing to put myself in an uncomfortable situation and do something other people would not be willing to do? And so I said yes. And fast forward, I end up scoring like the game-winning free throws with my non-dominant hand. We go on like into the quarterfinals. We lost, but I think that learning for me was really important because it set the courage and the tone for a lot of the rest of my life. Because I think sometimes we can easily fall into this place, and I still do it, of, oh, that's just for more intelligent people or strong people or people that have more connections or people that are willing, like they're just like more risk takers. And I think we can easily set foot into that, and that limits us and limits the courage it takes to do scary things in our lives. And that little piece has been something I've pulled along with me of my journey of like, why not me? Like, why is that for everyone else and it's not for me? But that's why I say, I'm like, I'm not a unicorn. It's just like, why not me?
Yeah, I love that. And I love in your story when you're talking about like that, the ships passing in the night, you didn't have it all figured out, but you had the confidence to know that you would figure it out.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever read the book, which I always recommend to people, Happy Pocket Full of Money. Have you ever read that book?
No, I need to
Okay,
add
well,
that to my list.
add it to your list. It's fantastic. It's a very interesting blend of money mindset and spirituality and woo religion. But there was a line that stood out for me, and I share it and say it over and over. And that is, the fastest way to increase your results is to increase your certainty.
The fastest way to increase your results is to increase your certainty.
Yeah. And for me, I see this in my clients that I work with all the time, is we want to out strategy ourselves and think, oh, it's the strategy we need to change. And no, you just have to believe with certainty in your offer, in your mission, in your why, in your purpose, in your faith, like whatever the case is. Because a question I'll ask my coaches sometimes is, do you believe in it enough that you would spend $1,000 a week on Facebook ads to it? And they're like, I'm like, okay, then you're not there. Like, we want to get you there. And I think that's the place where we neglect sometimes. And that's actually like the most important part of business.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do you help people get there though?
So there's a formula that's actually research based that I love to remind clients of. And that is that confidence, if you remember like science class, confidence equals self-belief times evidence. So on the reactance side, the things that we mix together would be both self-belief and evidence. And on the product side, the equals is confidence. And so where a lot of people, I think, fall short is they get in a pattern in their life of collecting evidence against their results or not even collecting evidence.
I tried that once.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
Yeah. And I'm like, tell me more. It didn't
My
work.
Uncle Bob lost his business in 2008. So probably can't do that.
Yeah. Or even like more subtle is they host a workshop for the first time and their evidence is only 2 people showed up instead of 2 amazing people showed up, right?
Yeah.
We desensitize ourselves in this world because if you think about 10 people only viewed my stuff, I'm like, imagine if you were in a room with 10 people, you'd be freaking so excited, right?
Yeah.
If 10 faces were live with you. And so I think step 1 is just really looking at what are the tactics and the tangible ways that we go out and we collect evidence for ourselves. Whether that's an album on your phone where every time you do something or you post something or a client sends you a message, you're like screenshotting it all and you create this pocket album, or it's a pin board, or it's just something as easy as inner dialogue, like reframing, like I just offered of it's not only 2 people, it's 2 people, right? Because as we increase the evidence, and so comes more confidence and increase in belief. And that's just like a tangible way, right? There's a lot more tools I would use to teach someone, but that formula is really important.
I love that idea of an album on your phone. At my last corporate job, I had an email box that was like really exciting emails. And I would go in there and reread it. Oh, you really helped me today. Or because of you, I was able to get a promotion, all that stuff. But I think sometimes it's so easy to overlook those things because there's so many other things coming at you. So I love the idea of having an album on your phone or a board on your wall or something like that to remind people of all the reasons why they truly have the ability to do great things and make an impact.
Yeah. And I think even a step beyond that is those things can also be repurposed publicly, which is part of the methodology that I teach inside the Best Damn Coach. Is those are what I call informal testimonials. And in this day and age in business, this is what people really want to see. Like canned, pretty looking formal testimonials all the time, but give me a real world snapshot or screenshot of somebody who unsolicited said your coaching impacted them or your podcast impacted them or whatever it is, and store it in the highlights, right, on your phone, or share it in an email or put it on your website, because those are the things that really say she's legit, she's coaching real humans, she's not asking for this. And it really, I think, builds that trust and that authority.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would also add, tell it like a story. Like it's so much better to be like, I work with a lot of operations people, but even ops people, you can get them on a story. If I'm like, oh, we converted 50% of the leads, they're like, what? But when I tell the story of we converted 50% of the leads that person was going to throw away because they said they've already worked them, that's a way better testimonial than We converted 50% of the leads.
I love to help my people create case studies
Yep.
before, the during, the after, so we get this clear picture of what really happened.
Yeah. And I want to go back to your idea or your comment about transformation, because I think so many times back to the 2 people who were on a webinar. I remember the first time I did a webinar and had 5 people. And
Mine was 1, so
okay, there you
I
go.
totally get it.
Yeah, but I think so many times now I've had hundreds on webinar calls, and I think so many times we forget where we came from and the journey that we've been on to get to where we're at. That transformation where you set the goal and we make the transformation and we achieve the goal, and then it's like on to the next goal. How do you celebrate those goals and really cherish that transformation that takes place?
Yeah. I'm there with you. I think this is challenging too when you have high achievers and you're on to the next thing consistently. It's been a place like I've had to coach myself a lot.
Yeah.
I think a tangible practice, while it might feel cliche, is like spending time in that celebration every single day and not just waiting for large milestones. So for me, like a non-negotiable part of my day is how I spend my morning. And it's in readings, it's in books, it's in, if you have faith practice, but really being present with what's happening every single day. And journaling for me is like a huge piece. But sometimes it's something like as subtle as Wednesdays and Thursdays are my client facing days. So I coach all day Wednesdays and Thursdays. And there's a lot that happens during that day. Like it's an emotional roller coaster at times doing a lot of the work that comes with this. But like just closing my office door and just taking a hot minute to celebrate the impact and the lives that you get to touch. People trust you with a lot when you're a service-based business. And it doesn't matter if you're working operations, like you get way more than just operations. Doesn't matter if you're cutting hair, you get way more than just cutting hair. And so I think it's trying to create these small pockets where those celebrations are a regular part of who you are and what you do, instead of waiting for the large milestones to be hit consistently too.
Yeah. And I think it's building that into your daily life, not waiting, like you mentioned, not waiting for, I achieved that goal. It's here's the little steps that I was able to make. And I don't want to harp on those 2 people, but can you imagine if those 2 people heard you say, I only had 2 people show up?
Absolutely.
Focus on the people who did show up, and you would be very grateful to have 10 or 2 people. But I think it's easy as high achievers and women to set goals and be like, I want to have 50 people. And then when 2 show up, to be disappointed. So how do you help people handle that disappointment when they don't achieve their goals?
I think 2 things come to mind actually as you say this. I think it's important first to recognize that we have parts inside of us. We have the part that's disappointed, and we have this because it drives us to do better. Yeah. It drives us to wear, hopefully, the analytical cap and collect data. And then we have this part, this contradictory part that's also, okay, you did it. Like 2 people. Yay, you should be proud.
Yeah.
And so whenever this is happening, and this is something I coach on all the time, is like, understand that these parts actually want the greater purpose. They want your best interest in mind. And that's important to just, we're always going to have that contrast and celebration, and also discouraged feelings that can come. But I do think a really important part is like looking at your own personal expectations versus reality curves. Because this is where, to your point, you said it's something about like Quitter's Alley.
Quitter's Valley, yeah.
Oh, Quitter's Valley, that's what it was. Quitter's Valley. I call the gap between what we think should happen, the expectations versus the reality. I call that gap the land of the lost. And the reason being is I had a client, for instance, she is amazing, and she held her first workshop, and she had something like, I think 40 people sign up, which I was
wow. Yeah.
What? Yeah. Like you crushed it. And then she ended up having something like 23 show up. And then she had 3 conversions while on webinar.
Yeah.
I get a Voxer from her, and she's, I'm like, how'd it go? She's like, you know what? I'm just so disappointed. It like didn't go well. And I had this many people like only sign up. And so I got just at first like the 3. And I was like, well, pump the brakes. Can I get all of the numbers? Let's look at all of the numbers. And then she gave me that feedback, something like 40
Yeah.
live were 20, conversion was 3. And so then I had to do the math. I'm like, you had an over 50% show up rate, which if you don't know this, that's a really
That's
great
huge.
number. That's huge. Average show up, 25%. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like it's even dropping in this current market. I don't know, 25 to 35%. So I'm like, you're already almost double average. And then if we do the math, 3 out of that 22 or 23 is something like probably 15%. I don't know what that, or 12%, just doing the math in my brain right now. Average conversion is like 3 to 5%.
Yeah.
So you really tripled that and doubled that. And so I share all that to go back and say is that sometimes disappointment is based on feeling instead of disappointment being on data. And I think it's important that when you're a business owner, you can't any longer live the belief that you're not a numbers person.
Yeah.
Successful people understand their numbers and understand how to get their emotion out of the way. So if she would have hung out there, she would have been like, oh, I suck. And instead we're like, you crushed the averages. Like, how do we do more of this now?
Yeah.
Like, you're doing a lot of things. Now we just need to get the attending sign up number to 80, because that means you're going to have 45 and then you're going to have 6 to 8 conversions. And so I think it's really important to just take a look at that.
Yeah. And I love that idea of really making it numbers based, because then you can take that disappointment a little bit down and know what your numbers are. Like, I wish I had a spreadsheet. Maybe I could recreate this, but I wish I had a spreadsheet of like when I first started, what my numbers really were,
Me
because
too.
then I could celebrate that all day long. I
Yeah.
just love this conversation about changing the way we think about what we're currently doing, our mindset, to ensure that we truly are able to carry on through what I call Quitter's Valley and you call the land of the lost. So if somebody is, oh my gosh, this Amanda, she's totally speaking my language, how would they work with you and maybe what could they expect?
Yeah, absolutely. If you are a coach or someone that would identify as a mentor guide, then the Best Damn Coach is a great place to come join other impactful practitioners doing amazing work. And we work on the art of coaching and also the skill of entrepreneurship, because I think to be a great coach, you definitely need both. And so they can find information on that program, which is evergreen enrollment, is at amanda-walker.com/best damn coach. That's just a community of just really amazing people doing cool work. And then the other way I love to serve people is through VIP experiences. And so that could look like a 1-day in-person or virtual experience where we are doing amazing work together in a shorter window of time in 1 day. And we can literally build a business from the ground up, and or really recreate or develop offering suites or build out coaching frameworks. Really, whatever is in somebody's vision, we can bring it to life. And those are some of the ways right now that I love working with clients.
I love it. And I love that idea of having a VIP day where you really get that customized example for what you're trying to build in your business. I think that
Goodies, there's lots of surprises, even if it's virtual. So yeah, it's really fun. And you can head on over to my website and just book a call to talk more about that. Or Instagram's also a great place to connect to.
cool.
And my handle there is A Walk My Way.
A Walk My Way. I love that too.
That was
Awesome. Oh, he came up with that?
Yes, he did long ago. I wish I would have just called myself name in the beginning, but lessons learned.
Yeah. Cool. I love that. Amanda, it's been a great chat. And I know that many of our listeners are out there thinking about where they want to be in life for the future. And I think you truly have dropped some really great nuggets on how to change where you're currently at and become what you wish to be.
Thank you. It's been a blast. I love your questions. And I feel like we're so close. We have to meet for coffee or something and meet.
Oh, definitely. Yes. So for those of you listening, she's very close to where I live and we definitely need to meet up. I think it'd be great.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. All right, bold goal crushers. It's time to get out there and crush your goals and everything that gets in the way without working double time, because life is more than checking email. So let's get to it. Thank you for tuning in to the Bold Goal Crusher podcast, where we crush goals and everything that gets in the way. I look forward to seeing you crush your goals this year.